Virgin Media are working hard to find new and innovative ways of improving the quality of residential installations. The installation methods used over the last few years have often resulted in damage to the footpath. As well as incurring charges for remedial work, more and more local authorities are now introducing extra charges for working on the highway or on the footpath. So Virgin Media need to avoid damaging and breaking the footpath wherever possible. They need to find new ways of working. Virgin Media have worked with a specialised R&D company to design and develop 3 new installation methods for crews to learn, and are also looking to refine an existing practice. The new methods, once learned and used, will not damage the footpath. This will help avoid any additional charges, as well as reduce the costs incurred for remedial work. Crews, as usual, arriving for the install should ensure that all health and safety regulations are adhered to in accordance with the Street Works legislation. The first method is the wall plate. The wall plate will be used where the T opening is greater than 50 mm from the customer's wall. Its design ensures that the footpath is not broken during installation. Position the wall plate on the wall and drill the first hole, making sure the holes are drilled deep enough to take a 70 mm screw. Once the first hole has been secured, the remaining screws can be fitted. The next stage is drilling down the guide hole. As you will notice, the guide is angled slightly towards the wall. The second hole to be drilled is from the T-hole to the wall plate. A spare screwdriver or drill bit should be placed in this newly drilled hole. This will let you know, when drilling your second hole, that you have reached the target. This hole should be of the shallowest angle as possible. First, you can use a smaller 15 mm pilot drill before using the 24 mm drill bit. Once you have reached the target, take out the screwdriver or drill bit and drill another 10 mm. The cable pulling tool can be used to scoop out any debris from this hole. The third and final hole to be drilled is the one that will take the cable through the wall or into the house. Again, remember, if you are drilling into a house, that the drill should be angled slightly upwards. So now we have all the holes drilled, we can feed the cable through. Place the cable pulling tool in the second drilled hole, and a guide cable can be fed through the top hole, feeding it through until you can feel it touch the pulling tool. This guide cable is then attached by tape to the RG6 or RG11 cable and pulled through. Alternatively, the cable can be pushed up through the drilled hole, but this can be quite tricky. Cable is then fed through the third hole to the required length. The cap can now be fitted to the wall plate to complete the job. As you can see, the pavement has not been damaged during this install. The wall plate has been designed to accommodate riser guards, and it is a simple process to complete. This is for situations where the garden may be higher than the footpath. After fitting the wall plate and drilling the first 2 holes, the third and final hole is drilled at the desired height. The cable is then fed through this hole. The riser guard is then cut to the desired length. Placing the cable behind the guard, it is then secured in place with the screws at either side. The cap is then fitted to the top of the riser. And here we have a wall plate with riser guard. Again, that has not damaged the footpath and looks very neat and professional. The next new method is the dolly. It will be used in instances such as these. Damage has been made to the footpath and the job is untidy. Typically, installs using the dolly will be where the T-hole is against the customer's wall or right up close to a terraced house. Cable comes from the T and a hole is drilled directly through the wall or house. The dolly is fitted into the T-hole and secured in place, firstly with the top screw and then with screws on either side. The dolly can be used with a riser guard when the breakthrough hole needs to be drilled further up the wall to accommodate an elevated garden, for example. Firstly, the cap of the dolly needs to be cut off. The riser guard can then be placed over the cable and secured by a number of screws. A hole is then drilled into the customer's boundary wall or the house and the cable is fed through. Finally, finishing off the job by fitting the cap back onto the dolly. Sometimes the dolly can be fitted when the T opening is a little way from the wall but not far enough to use one of the other methods. In these cases, the collar at the bottom of the dolly can be cut off and the install can continue as normal. The drilling jig is made up of a number of component parts. The locating T, the uprights, the radial arm and drilling guide, and the removable bushes. Two people should fit it together. It has fully adjustable height and width. It is designed to be used where the T opening is some distance from the property on the same level. It can also be used over small walls or fences. Using basic trigonometry, it enables a direct hit each time it's used without causing damage to the footpath. First, adjust the height of the jig for the walls, the fence or the hedge, and also adjust the drilling width. Then set the drilling guide. The jig allows us to drill directly from the customer's garden to the T-hole. The locating T is placed in the T opening and assembled over the obstruction or expanse. The uprights are placed upright with the drill guide aimed at the locating T. It can be rotated in any direction and will always meet the locating T upright. A 15mm pilot hole can be drilled first, particularly in concrete and cobbles. Drill until the bit meets with the locating T in the T-hole. Then drill with the 24mm drill after taking out the bushes from the drill guide. Sometimes, if the distance to be drilled is long, the jig can be removed and the drilling can continue in order to reach the T-hole. As the angle has been determined, you will meet with the T-hole. In order to get the cable through to the property without it kinking, it should be fed directly from the T into the drilled hole and not looped outside the T. All these solutions for domestic installs avoid damage to the highway and improve the quality of the installation.